I am tired. How about you? This is the Leal Legacy.
Who's the leader of the pack, bringing legacy to you? Legacy, it's true. Stand up, gear up, join the fight. We're as fierce as we can be. With grit and might, we claim the night. We're the Legacy. Legacy Club. Legacy Club. Strong and unbreakable. Warriors with fire inside. In our hearts, we're invincible. Legacy Club.
Man, oh man. What up? What up with you? What up with me? My wrist cracked. I wonder if you could hear that. Recording this guerrilla style. So apologies for the quality if it is subpar. I really need to be able to figure out how to get back to my normal recording setup at my desk. That really just requires time, quiet, the ability to focus. And when you have as many children as I do, running amok constantly through your house, through your life, those moments are few and far between, but that's neither here nor there. It'll happen. It'll all come in time. It's been wild lately. So wild. Some good, some bad, some annoying. A lot of annoying. I've been forced to deal with subpar, I don't know what the right word is. Service, I guess you could say. I had to get my brakes changed not long ago, and man, that was hyper annoying. As some of you may know, my afternoons and evenings are dedicated to helping train children in the art of violence. Mostly choking each other, but, we're also delving more into the MMA world. So it will be training children to punch and kick each other on top of grapple. So that's always fun. Over at Nashville MMA with Coach Sugar Sean Allen. He's the Batman, I'm the Robin. It's a fun way of just saying I'm his assistant. I enjoy it. I enjoy that work. I enjoy all the things I do. I just need to find more time to prioritize it all. To schedule. A schedule is key to life and being creative. I mean, you can really kind of be creative at any given moment in life, but to direct creativity in a way where it's lucrative, that definitely takes some doing. That takes scheduling. Right now, my son Rhodey is asleep on the couch. So I'm trying to be not as loud as I normally would be. He just started stirring, so that terrified me a little bit. Maverick is at the store with his mother, so I saw this opportunity and I was like, I gotta take it. But when I made that transition to recording guerrilla style just so I could have something coming out, it almost seems like anytime I make an adjustment to do things more productively or proactively, the universe around me decides to play chess. You know, I move my pawn, the universe moves its pawn, and it's just this wild chess match. And for a minute there, it felt like checkmate. It felt like checkmate. And I was on the losing end of said battle. But you know what? I decided to flip over the table, knock all the pieces on the floor, and say, bite me. Bite me. That's what I say. I've been hyper-focused lately. I've still been creative. I'm going to stand up, so if there's rustling and whatnot, that's what that is. It's me moving, because I think I better find a new area to make this all work, because I'm really afraid of waking him up. I'm going to take my coffee with me, though. Oh, hit the chair. Ugh. You know, when you're trying to be quiet, it's super easy to be really loud. Isn't that interesting how that works out? You know what? I'm going to go upstairs. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just leave the room entirely, or leave the first floor of my house entirely, and head upstairs. Leave the door open so when he wakes up, I can hear him and race back down to, I was going to say his aid, but hopefully he doesn't need aid when he wakes up. That would be troubling. Oh, wow, it's way quieter up here, too. It feels less echoey. Where were we? Yeah, I've been hyper-focused as of late on my merch. It's more than merch. Apparel brand, lifestyle brand. Not long ago, I've really just revamped and rebranded everything. Really focused on keeping everything Leal Legacy. Once upon a times, there have been a lot of times where this podcast has evolved, changed names, directions, all kinds of things. And I think I was too focused on a direction. I kind of feel more free when I keep it a little bit willy-nilly. But if you get too willy-nilly, then that can cause problems. Then things can get away from you. And when things get away from you, there's no benefit. There's no benefit to anything. But anyway, I digress. Legacy by Leal is what the apparel company, lifestyle brand, is now called. And, you know, Leal Legacy, the Leal Legacy Podcast, Legacy by Leal, clothing, apparel, whatever you want to call it. Legacy of Leal is our vlog. So, yeah, it's all very tightly branded now, and I feel good about that. I've been wondering, too, lately if I'm facing some sort of midlife crisis. Maybe I've been fighting Is it a midlife crisis if the crisis has perpetuated itself through leading up to midlife? I hope I'm not midlife. I'm 39 right now. I hope I have more than another 39 years. But when you really think about it, halfway through, all the things I've experienced and lived through and been through and seen and done in 39 years, to think there's another whole, that equal amount of time to experience an equal amount of things, it does seem like a lot of time. It seems like, that's a big chunk. But I'm selfish. I'm greedy. I want more. Immortality sounds pretty rad. I wonder if that's ever actually going to be achievable in our lifetime. Some seem to think it will be. I'm not sure. I mean, I think the human life can greatly be extended with modern technology and medicine, medical technology. I think that's all definitely a possibility and a likelihood to some degree. And I'm into it. I'd go full cyborg to hang out here. But then I am also curious what's on the other side. You know what I mean? If one achieves immortality and just stays here for all eternity, that mystery of what's on the other side will never be achieved. It'll never be uncovered. So I'm conflicted. Though I'd love to be immortal, I'm just overwhelmingly curious about what lies beyond. And I don't know, man. What does lie beyond? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it scary? That's something to think about. Is it scary? Are all these religions right? Are all these religions, are they onto something? Which idea of the afterlife is correct? Are any of them correct? That's something to take into consideration. Are any of them correct? Are any of them right? Who knows? Do you believe in the supernatural? I sure do. Do you believe in something after death? I do. I'm not an atheist by any stretch of the imagination. I find atheism pretty depressing, honestly. I find the idea of the lights shutting off and everything going dark and it just being over pretty much the most existential bummer there can be. Like, what then truly, what was it all about? Why is this even a thing if it just goes out and it's over? For the idea of consciousness to be meaningless is crippling, in my opinion. I wonder what atheists do believe. Do you think atheists say they're atheists because they, I don't know, are hollow inside? Like, that seems like a real hollow way to be. It's just, it's over. It all goes black, and it was all nothing. It was all for nothing. You cease to be. You're gone. You're nothing. There's no memory. There's nothing. You know what I mean? It's like beyond going to sleep. Because at least when you sleep, there are dreams. It's not reality, but it's still something. Something is still happening. But to think it's just nothing is such a bummer. I refuse to believe that. I grew up Catholic. And I hold on to my... I like the tenets of Catholicism. You know what I mean? I like the idea of a heaven. I like the idea of a God. I like the idea of something more beyond what's going on this plane of existence. I find that to be the most pleasing of outcomes in the end. I don't know enough about other religions and their idea of the afterlife. I think most have some sort of concept of a heaven. I mean, heaven is ultimately like the best case scenario. But then you get the duality, heaven and hell. Then you got to worry about, like, do you make the cut? Did you do enough in this life to make it to the positive outcome? Or did you not? And if you didn't, and you go to hell, and then you're just surrounded by agony for all eternity, and that's, you know what? Then I think I'd rather have the lights shut off and it all be nothing. Because the concept of eternal pain and punishment, ugh, I think non-existence definitely is the superior option, the more optimal option. But then you got the people who say that all that's just nothing and it's just all a scam to make you behave. What is behaving? Trying to be a good person, trying to be kind, trying not to willingly cause harm, to intentionally cause harm, because you know what? Even if you're not intentional about it, you're going to cause harm. Everybody harms someone. Everybody harms something. And then what are the degrees of that? If I kill a fly, I've harmed that fly, and that was a living creature. And then is there something beyond for that fly that I've executed? Or in the idea of atheism, do the lights shut off for that fly and then it's just nothing? That seems a bit unfair. Why does humanity, why are humans the only beings that are offered an afterlife? Why is human consciousness more deserving of any other sort of life, of having something beyond than just nothing? But then I guess that kind of comes back to the idea of consciousness. Are flies conscious? I mean, to a degree. A fly knows it wants to fly, it knows it wants to eat, it knows it wants to reproduce, it knows it wants to do all those things that I want to do. But because I'm self-aware of my consciousness, does that put a higher value on mine? I don't know. I'm not going to stop killing flies because they're annoying. They're disease-carrying annoyances. And I'm using the fly in this train of thought, stream of consciousness, because, I don't know, for whatever reason, in my little part of Nashville, there seems to be an overabundance of them. And they keep making it into my house. Like anytime I go do laundry and whatnot, they find their way in and they get in my way. They try to land on my food. They try to land on my children's food. And the easiest course of action is eradicating it. But in doing so, I take its life. And in doing so, I just shut it off. I just shut it off, and that life ceases to be. It goes dark into nothingness. Or does it? Or does it? I don't know. I'm really having an existential situation going on. I hope I'm doing all right. I mean, there's countless people who may disagree, who do disagree. Are their disagreements warranted, though? Does everybody have that same thing going on? I find that there's no middle ground for me when it comes to people. I think folks either genuinely very much like me or they loathe me. I'm not quite sure if there's anyone who feels an indifference towards me. And do you want someone to have an indifference towards you? If they have some sort of indifference towards you, I mean, I guess there are a lot of people that can have an indifference towards you. Like somebody who you just happen to walk by in the grocery store. In the grocery store, if you just walk by somebody in an aisle, yeah, you can make eye contact. You can give a little head nod, give a smile, or you can make complete eye contact and look away. But there's some sort of contact made. Now, if you just go down the aisle and pass somebody and there is no eye contact or anything, acknowledgement made, I guess there is an indifference there. But at the same time, if I do that with somebody, I'm not walking past this person that I'm not acknowledging and going like, if they perish in some way, I don't care. I don't know. Do I care? I mean, I care in the way that, it's a real bummer for their family. I hope they didn't suffer when they cease to be. So that's not a complete indifference. I would imagine a complete indifference is like, hey, this random person, I don't care if they live or die. I hope everybody lives. But then I say I hope everybody lives, but then there's really awful people in the world. And then these awful people in the world, I kind of take a step back and then I wonder if what are they worth? I mean, conventionally, I guess people don't start evil, or do they? You have those sociopaths, those psychopaths, those mass murderers, those people who abuse children and such, and like, there's always like a catalyst that makes them that way. Or there at least is, in theory, something that causes them to be that way. A baby, if you have a baby, if you're a parent and you hold your little newborn child, that little creature you're holding, that child you're holding is untainted by anything. Untainted by evil, untainted by tragedy. There's no seeming like, there's no will to harm. But at the same time, there's no will to be good in an infant. An infant is truly indifferent. It doesn't have the concept of good and bad. It just exists. And that carries through, I don't know. I don't know how long that carries over. I have a 2-year-old, the one, Rhodes, who's sleeping on the couch right now. He is just incredibly sweet. Also, on the flip side, very mischievous. He does things. He willfully does things, and I know he does. He willfully does things that he knows I'm going to be unhappy about, but it brings him some sort of joy, and he'd rather experience his joy than worrying about how it's going to make me feel. Specifically, he likes to play with lights. We have this like stick lamp kind of thing that he likes to disassemble and play with. He likes to play in water. He likes to dump water from his cup into other objects and play around in the liquid. His devotion to playing around in the liquid, like no matter what kind of like anti-spillage sippy cup he is using, he will take a sip and willfully go spit the water he has sipped out of his cup into something else for whatever reason. His brother Maverick was the same, and I'm pretty convinced Maverick taught him how to do that. But he's not doing it for any malicious intent, but at the same degree, it is a selfish move because he knows it's going to bother Dad. It's going to bug Dad, but he's willing to risk it to fulfill some sort of like selfish joy. And I'm not calling my kids selfish, but the act of him doing that is only to please him. There's no benefit to it. There's no benefit beyond his enjoyment of playing in water. And it bugs me because I don't like stepping in water. You know what I mean? I don't like things just being unreasonably wet. So I don't know. How did I end up here? Who knows? Who knows? I guess it was that whole idea of like good and evil and blah, 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 blah. Now, those people who do commit willful evil, do they just not care what happens next? Is that ultimately like the true nature of atheism? All of this doesn't matter, so I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Be damned the consequences, be damned of if there are consequences. You can run through life causing reckless harm. And there are degrees to causing reckless harm. There can be, for self-gratification and benefit. But then there are those really dark souls who just harm for the sake of harm. They just want to cause pain and suffering. But then I guess, is there ever that desire to cause pain and suffering for the sake of pain and suffering? Or does it bring those individuals joy so that it comes back to that whole selfish gratification? Is any of this making sense? Does any of this resonate with anyone beyond me just throwing out some stream of consciousness right there? I don't know. And what if it all just goes dark? What if it's like Coco? You guys seen Coco? Pixar's Coco? What if it's like that? What if the memory you leave behind of who you are, that is what retains your existence beyond this plane of existence? And once there's no one left to remember you, that's when you dissolve into nothingness. Maybe nothingness can be an outcome, but that nothingness stems from the value of what you leave behind. I don't know. I just saw the car pull up, so that means the house is going to get noisier. So I may as well wrap this up here and jump back on later. Anyway, stuff to think about. Give it some thought. Let me know what you think. There's a frequent question I've been asking myself pretty much forever, honestly. And it's why do I do this to myself? And I never have an answer, yet I'm constantly posing the question. I never learn. I never, ever, 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 ever learn. But maybe that's just part of my charm. I got this wild idea. I got this wild hair. Where did that come from? A wild hair. Does that have to do with a wild hair on your head not being tamed by a comb and pomade? I got a wild hair to update the logo for Leal Legacy. I don't know why. I was pretty devoted to the cartoon fists. I liked those for a while, but I don't know what happened. I wonder, I think I started feeling like it made things ironically too cartoony. You know what I mean? Cartoon fists, like white Mickey gloves, balled into fists being held up. I thought it was brilliant. I thought that it was brilliant because it really kind of personifies myself perfectly. I love Disney. I'm a Disney adult. I'm also obsessed with mixed martial arts. So cartoon glove fists just made sense. I also wonder if it just kind of became too difficult to utilize. Like it didn't feel diverse enough. I mean, I'm the same person. I'm still a Disney adult. I'm still obsessed with martial arts. Mixed martial arts, to be precise. But that design stopped speaking to me. So I went something more subtle, more minimalist, more classic, more kind of original, I guess. I adapted it and updated it to 2 L's for Leal Legacy, LL. Done, inspired by, I guess, kind of like baseball logos. You know what I mean? Like, think of the New York Yankees, their logo, the NY, LA Dodgers, the LA, San Diego Padres, the SD. You know how like they 2 letters overlap one another? I went with that. And it looks cool. I love it. I love it a lot. I hope I love it long enough to utilize it for the foreseeable future. And in the moment, I always in the moment think that's going to be the case. I always in the moment truly believe this is the one. This is the one that's going to carry over, and we're going to stick with it. But like I said, I never learn. I never, ever learn. I just noticed I have a mat burn on my foot. Interesting. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on the last few days. Updating everything in the Legacy by Leal store to utilize the LL monogram, the Leal Legacy monogram, in some fashion. Now, I'm enjoying everything that is being modified as a result. I like everything that I'm putting up more. I think everything looks cooler. I think it looks very much more. Well, that doesn't sound right at all. I like it a lot more. I feel like it flows much better. I think it ties into the whole Leal Legacy by Leal, Legacy of Leal brand. Because all these double L's, it suits it all. It's all encompassing. It can be used for everything. So from a branding standpoint, genius. From a productivity standpoint, absolutely moronic. But I'm getting through it. And hopefully you go check it out. Go to leallegacy.com and go and click on our, I think it's store. It's either shop or store. I don't remember what it is. One of those, but go check it out. Check it out. Let me know what you think. You tell me what you think. And then I even went as far as updating the thumbnail for this podcast. I've done that way too many times. I've probably done that more times than I've actually changed the name of the podcast, which I refuse to ever do again. This will forever and always be the Leal Legacy Podcast. Again, I say that, and then something's going to strike me, and I'm going to backpedal and just do it all over again. I guess there are worse vices to have. I suppose there are worse self-destructive, I don't know, moments of inspiration that I could have. But, you know, this is the one. This is the one that haunts me forever. Very minimalist. I'm starting to feel like minimalism, doing everything in a more minimalist fashion, broadens the ability to get more complex and complicated with whatever I want to do. You know what I mean? Because that LL can adapt to whatever. The way the thumbnail looks for this podcast right now, you have no idea what it's about. I have no idea what it's about. Truly, no idea what it's about. The description of this podcast is a SoCal-raised MMA-obsessed Disney adult provides questionable commentary on everything. And I really think that sums it up. And that's broad. That's very broad. It tells you where I'm from. So it gives you an idea of my background. It tells you what I love. So you're going to hear a lot about MMA. You're going to hear a lot about Disney. And the other things that a company said. I mean, I got lucky. I got lucky because all my fandoms fall under that Disney umbrella. I love Star Wars. I love Marvel. So it works. It works. But yeah, I'm starting to think. I think too much. I think way too much is another one of my problems. I'm thinking that my brain operates far too fast. And that might be part of my problem because I'm always thinking of the next thing. While I'm working on an idea that I had, before I'm able to complete said idea, I'm already thinking about the next thing I want to do. And then all my passion goes to the new thing I want to do that I start falling off of the current task. And that's detrimental in itself. And I'm really trying to temper that back. I'm really trying to focus on things to completion before moving to the next thing. But then I'm always afraid if I don't move to the next thing fast enough, it's going to pass me by. Or, again, with the whole brain operating too fast, if I don't move on to that next idea, my new idea, if I don't jump on that right away, I'm going to have another idea beyond that. And then that one's just going to go, Thanos dust into the ether. But I recognize it. I feel like I'm pretty good at recognizing my flaws. Not everybody would agree. There are some folks who I'm confident disagree with that. In my case, the great unfortunate reality is people who theoretically should be close to me have probably the least and most off understanding of who I am. If that makes sense. I'm not talking about my immediate family, my kids, my wife, and all them. I'm with them every day, interact with them every day. They have a very firm grasp of who I am. I don't have parents. They passed away when I was a child. My grandparents, who had maybe one of the heaviest hands in raising me, they've both passed. The next person in line would be my Uncle Neil. But actually, he's not next in line. He's probably at the forefront of the line behind my wife and kids, who holds the most accurate impression of who I am. But it's wild. You know what I mean? It's just wild. I've been having an issue, and maybe, I don't know. No, it's not, I don't feel like it's airing dirty laundry per se, but this is my therapy. And I get to use it as a therapist. I use the most public platform possible to vent my darkest demons. Oh, that's terrifying for the world. People pay good money to keep these things between, like, in a one-on-one scenario with, like, a therapist, hoping that their darkness doesn't bleed over into the rest of the world because they want to keep these things secret about themselves. I don't care to keep things secret about me. I got no secrets. I'm a pretty open book. I wear it on my sleeve. And that's what this podcast also is a deep dive in reflection of myself. And maybe in deep diving and doing a deep dive of reflection in myself, maybe it can help inspire others to do the same about them. You know what I mean? So I'm going to caveat this with, I don't mean any sort of I have no ill intent with any of the things I'm about to say. I don't mean to slander. I don't mean to, what is the other word? I don't mean to, diminish any reputation. I don't mean to, I'm not going to be dishonest. Not going to be dishonest, and I'm not going to be mean. One of those things I don't so much care about. I never want to be dishonest, but I really don't care if I'm mean. You know what I mean? I feel like some people don't deserve niceties per se. I don't feel like not everyone has earned kindness necessarily. So I have no qualms in, justifiably treating those the way they deserve to be treated as a result of the way they choose to treat others, namely me. I've been having a hard time with, I have one sibling. I have a sister. I have a younger sister. And given the life we've had, given the traumatic experiences that we've shared, we are not close by any stretch of the imagination. And I feel a lot of that is due to her choosing to believe dishonest ideas about me and my character. People have relationships, right? And not all relationships are good. Some relationships are bad. And, when it comes to if my sister ever had a bad boyfriend and that boyfriend wanted to come and talk smack about her, I'd be like, okay, bro. It's my sister. I got her back. I'm on her side. I don't know you. I didn't trick or treat with you as kids. I didn't open Christmas presents on Christmas morning with you. Didn't share birthdays with you. You're no one to me. You're someone that she introduced into my life, and now it didn't work out, so now you are no longer a part of my life. That's how I look at it. However, she feels differently. Has she said that directly? Maybe not in so many words, but what they say, actions speak louder than words. And that has nothing to do with anything. I don't even care about that. Our last name, my last name, she's married. Her last name changed. Our last name, Leal, is translated into loyalty. I try to live that as much as I can. I'm loyal to those who are loyal to me. I'm loyal to those who, that's it, are loyal to me. If you're going to break that loyalty, I'm no longer going to be loyal to you. That means you mean nothing now. You know what I mean? I do love my sister. I do hold a great deal of respect for what she's been through in life and the hardships that she has faced. We both faced the hardship of losing our parents. She faces a little more of an added hardship in the loss of our mother, given the time frame of when our mother passed away. And I always hold that. I always say she was stronger. She's a stronger person than I because of what she had, of that added trauma that I didn't luckily experience in that same shared trauma. You know what I mean? But that trauma, what really should have bonded us together, didn't. Our grandmother, the grandmother who raised us not recently, like a couple years, passed away. She passed away maybe almost 3 years ago. And when my mother passed away, my grandmother held on to all of my mother's things, from when she was alive. And growing up, I always had it in my mind that there would come a day where my grandmother would no longer be overseeing those items left by my mother, and would be up to my sister and I to get together and go through it all. Well, that time came, and I expressed that interest that I've held on to for my whole life to her, and I was like, hey, that mom's old stuff is here. Mom's old stuff is in storages and in the house we grew up in and what have you. And I expressed, like, let's create a time to where we can go through it all. We can divvy it up. We can decide what's sentimental. We can decide what to keep. We can decide what is passed down to her grandkids, her daughters, my sons. That time came. I expressed how I felt about it. And I was met with disregard. I was met with being blown off, essentially. I was met with it was a very not my problem sort of reaction. I feel like I did a pretty good job expressing how much it meant to me personally. I was hoping it meant just as much to her, and here's the thing. I try my best to provide some slack for those who may not feel the same way I do, because nobody's going to feel the exact same way. I find it hard to swallow that there's not a curiosity. There's no curiosity of, like, these artifacts from our lost mother should be meaningful. Now, I was 7. I was 7. Or going on 7. Something like that. When our father passed away. I was 9 when our mother passed away. If I was 6 when our father passed away, she was 3. If I was 7, she was 4. I was 9 when our mother passed away, she was 5. Well, 6. Thereabouts. So I have my only way to not feel anger with my remorse for how things have turned out is that she didn't live with our mother as long as I did. She wasn't cognizant or conscious of that relationship because she was so young. I have a 2-year-old. My 2-year-old, he's not going to remember, like if I died tomorrow, I'm going to be stories to him. He's not going to remember experiences. He's not going to remember time together. He may have some sort of faint idea, but it's not going to be as embedded into his soul, our time together, as it would be with, say, Bane, who was 9. Bane and I have had a lot of experiences together. We have had a lot of fun together. We have, we've shared a lot of time together, and a lot of that time together he can vividly remember because so much of that time happened while he has been able to form those memories. I don't know where memories truly start. I feel like I can kind of remember things from when I was 3, maybe, but they're kind of like how you would remember a dream. You know what I mean? When you wake up and you try to remember the dream you had, like halfway through the day, you try to remember the dream and it's just kind of like fuzzy flashes. It's kind of like that. So I'm assuming she has more fuzzy flashes of time with our parents, our mother. I don't know how much she remembers of our dad, to be honest with you, because she was so young when he passed away. And then so much of the time where she was able to form memories, and I'm just saying, like, in general, I'm just saying all humans aren't really, no one really has strong memories, as far as I can tell, from being, like, younger than 4, maybe. Maybe that's not everybody, but that's kind of a baseline understanding that I think most people can agree with. So much of that time too, our mother was sick. So it wasn't like we were out building happy memories. It was a sad time. So, to get back to the point, I expressed like, I want to go through the stuff. I want to see what's there. I want keepsakes. I want the keepsakes from our lost mom, our lost parents. I'm more attached to my mom because, again, more time with her. And then for various other reasons. But that was all kind of just tossed aside. I didn't get to go through my mom's stuff. I didn't get to fulfill that desire, that moment in time that I was so like, I was looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to like going through it all and kind of being able to reminisce and even learn about maybe who she was. I know my sister went through it. I learned that my sister went through it because my wife saw a Facebook post where she was polling Facebook or Instagram. I think it was one of the two. She was polling social media whether or not she should throw things away or keep them. She went to social media to get that. She didn't go to me. She didn't go, hey, my brother, here are these things left by our parents. Would you like them? It was, hey, social media, I'm going through this junk. Do I throw it away or keep it? I wasn't included. I wasn't involved. I had no say in the matter. Now, granted, she's in San Diego, I'm in Nashville, but text messages are instantaneous. Even if there was some sort of time frame that I'm not knowing about, that she had to do it immediately and she couldn't wait for me to plan a trip out there, FaceTime is instantaneous. The future, we live in the future. I could have been on FaceTime while she was going through the stuff and could have seen it with her even if I was far away. But that wasn't how it worked out. And that has it's taken a very emotional toll on me. I try not to be resentful, but I'm kind of being faced with the reality that I'm not that strong of a person. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that, to be disregarded. It's heartbreaking to have that moment taken away from me. It's heartbreaking to realize that I'm not strong enough to not be upset. But then it's an upsetting situation. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to get that again now. That moment I was looking forward to, these things that I wanted to see, these things that I wanted to go through, this opportunity to connect with the parents that I lost as a kid, I don't get that now. And a big part of it, given her feelings about me due to the hearsay from other people, like I feel like there was some malintent, there was some maliciousness behind it, which hurts even more. So that's what I'm dealing with. I want to say I'm sure I'll get over it, but at the same time, again, I don't really know if I'm that strong. All I can do at this point now is do my best to ensure that my kids don't treat each other the same way. should something happen to me tragically or whatever, I want them to remain close. I don't want them to fall apart. I don't want them to have any sort of loyalty to anyone else that overshadows their loyalty to each other. And I'm not even talking about like loyalty to close individuals. I'm talking about people who were around for brief moments, people who have proven themselves not to exactly be who have proven themselves not to be the most healthy emotionally and mentally. I mean, this person that my sister essentially chose over me took actions that I would argue, if anybody knew the sort of details of, would be like, oh, this person was capable of doing that. So maybe the things that they said and maybe the things that they portrayed maybe weren't justly portrayed. I'm trying to be very delicate. And I think I am being very delicate. Again, I'm not here to slander. I'm not here to speak ill of anybody, but I'm just spitting out the details as they are in the most black and white terms. Will my sister listen to this and hear this? Probably not. Probably not. If she does, I'm not entirely confident that it would mean anything. And that in itself is also a bummer. I do love her very much, though. Always will. Always respect her and her strength and her ability to overcome. But I don't know, man. It seems as though sibling fallout is a time-honored tradition in our family, at least our mother's side of the family. My grandfather and his brother had a huge falling out. They despised each other from as far as I could tell. My uncles, after my mother passed away, my uncles fell out. I don't feel like they hold a high respect or regard for one another. And following suit, my sister and I have held that tradition. But I want to break that tradition with my kids. I'm going to break that tradition with my kids, and I work very hard to break that tradition with my kids. I really try to embed it within them that, hey, your brothers are truly like, that's who you have. You know what I mean? You guys will grow up, you'll have relationships, you may get married, you may have marriages that don't work out, but you know what? No matter what, you guys will always, undoubtedly, without question, have each other's backs. Or else. Or else you answer to me. And none of them want to do that. I wasn't trying to make this like a depressing thing, but that's what comes with the whole stream of consciousness approach that I have with this podcast. Sometimes I'll talk about MMA. I'll talk about UFC, which actually there's fights going on right now that I want to go watch. So those weird midday fights when they have fights being held in parts of the world that don't want to stay up until the wee hours of the morning. So I'm going to go watch those at some point. But yeah, the stream of consciousness thing, man. Who knows what's going to come out? Who knows where it's going to go? People ask like, oh, you got a podcast? What's it about? I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of a vent session sometimes. It's kind of a existential kind of, deep dive. Sometimes I talk about comic books, movies, Star Wars, Disney, all kinds of wild and crazy possibilities. Speaking of Disney, speaking of, let's not end this on a somber note. Let's course correct, right? Let's course correct. You don't want to listen to this for, sob stories. I don't think it was a sob story. I don't feel like I was, sob storying it up. I do hope if you have siblings, especially if you have siblings that you aren't necessarily close with, maybe remedy that. Maybe remedy that before more time is lost. I'm 39, she's 36, maybe. If not yet, she will be very soon. Lots of time lost. Lots and lots of time lost. And, what, and for what? And for what? I don't know. But if you have the opportunity to remedy any sort of superficial, nonsensical issues that you have, more than just with siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, relatives, whatever, what have you, don't let it rob you of joy, building more memories, building a legacy of unity. Take it from somebody speaking from experience. I have 2 nieces that I would love to know more, but alas, our family tradition up till this point has been one that bums me out. But anyhow, like I said, I don't want to bum this. I got off on a tangent, but seriously, go fix whatever you need to fix and end up differently. Take the path that I did not take. Don't take the one I'm on. I'm on that path. I'm telling you, danger ahead. I'm telling you, the path I'm on, no go, perilous. Take the bright and sunny road with the butterflies, not the creepy, dark road with all the dead trees and the bats. Aesthetically, I prefer the one with the dead trees and the bats, but emotionally, I think the sunshine and butterflies is better for your soul. Sorry if I get real breathy. I'm recording this on my phone again because my son, Rhodes, is downstairs taking a nap and had to take the quiet opportunity to record to get something out, But anyway, what I wanted to say about Disney, though, Disneyland, 70 years of Disneyland. What a legacy. What a legacy, y'all. I say y'all now. I've lived in Nashville long enough to where my SoCal soul says y'all. Am I a Nashvilleian now? Am I a Southerner now? I've lived here for over a decade. Pushing 2 decades, almost, really. Getting closer to that than not. So I'd argue that I'm a Southerner now. So I can say y'all. I can say y'all unironically. And I will. 70 years, though. 70 years of Disneyland. And that celebration's going on right now. Hopefully, we'll be able to take a family trip out there and be able to partake in the festivities. But not living in San Diego, that's quite the trek. It's much, much easier to get down to Disney World. We did get to Disney World for their 50th anniversary, and that was a lot of fun. But Disneyland will forever hold the most prominent place in my heart when it comes to all things Disney. And one of the first ever attractions at Disney was Moments with Mr. Lincoln, I think it was called, or is called. It's an animatronic Abe Lincoln that, talks about Abe Lincoln stuff. They have since, for this 70-year anniversary, they've added an animatronic Walt Disney to that same little area, to that same attraction. Now, I don't know the operation of it. I don't know if it spins like Carousel of Progress does to a degree. I don't think it would spin like Carousel of Project, because Carousel of Progress, the seats move, I believe. Right? I think the stage stays and the auditorium where you're sitting, I think that part moves. Maybe I'm wrong about those mechanics, but I don't necessarily think I am. But that building that Moments with Mr. Lincoln in, that does not house the capacity, I don't feel like, to do the same thing. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does. I don't know. Disney magic. Leave it to the Imagineers to figure that out and keep it well under wraps. I mean, it's probably very easy to look up and figure out, but I'm on my phone, not by my computer, and I'm just not gonna go the extra mile to figure it out. But they've added a Walt Disney animatronic to that same space. And not having experienced the attraction firsthand, just from seeing video and photos of this Walt Disney animatronic, I'm feeling like they made an animatronic. It being Walt Disney is feeling like a stretch. It does not translate to video or photo as being a accurate adaptation of Walt Disney. I didn't know the man. He passed away before I was born. But there are plenty of photos and video of him. And this droid does not, in my humble opinion, resemble or reflect the man that it's intended to. I don't know. I've heard things where it's like, oh, if you see it in person, then it's much better. And then I kind of feel like it might be like an uncanny valley kind of thing. It's meant to see in motion in person from seats. So it's further away. Because when you get up close, you're like, oh man, that is not. You know who Mike Lindell is, the My Pillow guy? It looks more like him. I saw something on Instagram where they voiced over the Disney animatronic and put Mike Lindell selling his pillows. It was a My Pillow ad, and it was like, oh man, that's way more accurate. So, I don't. Is it a Disney thing right now, or Imagineers not what they used to be? Because I've also seen that the Donald Trump animatronic in the Hall of Presidents at Magic Kingdom is kind of the same. It's very shoddily put together. I mean, the mechanics and everything, I don't know about that. I don't know. But just aesthetically, it is not of the same caliber that the Jack Sparrow animatronics on Pirates of the Caribbean are. The Jack Sparrow animatronics in both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom are pretty spot on. You definitely look at it and go, oh man, that's Johnny Depp. That's legit Jack Sparrow. The Donald Trump and Walt Disney ones do not reflect the same. And I'm even saying like photo and video. It's a very good resemblance to Jack Sparrow and Johnny Depp. But photo and video, this Donald Trump and Walt Disney is not a very accurate representation. And then it makes me wonder if like the Donald Trump one, you can kind of, at first I was just kind of like, oh, it must have been people who voted the other way. It must be those like anti-Donald Trump folks like, wow, let's make him look weird. Which I get it. That's your way of spitting in his face for beating Kamala in the election. I get it. I mean, I don't necessarily get all the like super anti-Trump hate. It seems kind of wild to me. Because I mean, if you're gonna hate that guy, you should probably hate all of them. All politicians are gross. All politicians are bleh. They're all self-serving. They're all dishonest. They're all, evil in their own right. So if you're going to hate one, hate them all. That's my standpoint. But yeah, given that it's like, and then, but then here's the thing, you know what I mean? They're not going to do Walt Disney dirty like they might feel inspired to do Donald dirty. I get why they would want to do Donald dirty depending on how they feel about his politics and how they voted and whatnot. But if you work at Disneyland or you work for Disney, you're not going to want to make the man that created this empire of joy. You're not going to want to do him dirty. You're not going to want to make him look awful. That just seems counterintuitive, especially for the 70th anniversary. Like this is their landmark release. This, and they've also added a lost lyric or a lost verse, I guess would be more accurate. They've added a lost verse. I don't know if it was lost, but it wasn't included in the original It's a Small World song. They've added a new verse, or it was written at the same time as the original It's a Small World song. It just wasn't included in the song that's been on repeat on the ride for all these decades. They added another verse to both. To both. They've added it to Disneyland's version and they've added it to Magic Kingdom's version. So I no longer know all the words to It's a Small World. That was a big point of pride for me for a little while, knowing all the words. But that's no longer the case. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm going to have to listen to it and get my chops up to speed. So that's that. That is that. My dog is barking at seemingly nothing. My wife and kids have not returned from their outing. Rhodes is still asleep, so I don't know what she's barking at. Maybe an Amazon delivery. Who knows? What are we doing on time? Let's look at this. Oh boy, this went longer than I thought. This is going to be a longer episode for these guerrilla style on the phone recordings. So, yeah. Check it out, guys. Check out all the new stuff I'm doing. LealLegacy.com. Go there. Scope out all the fun and killer content we have available for you, including our Legacy of Leal vlog, our Leal Legacy View POV ride-through videos of various Disney attractions and parades and fireworks and all kinds of stuff. POV view. What else we got? We got Leal Legacy Gaming. My son Bane games a lot. He likes to live stream his gameplay, so check that out either on YouTube or at leallegacy.com and watch all the chaos that he gets himself into. And then Legacy by Leal, our store. It is directly at shop.leallegacy.com, or you just go to leallegacy.com and click on our shop, or store tab. I'm still not entirely sure which one it is, but it's up there. It'll be pretty obvious. Our latest drop, I can say things like that. I'm doing things like that now, doing drops, doing thematic drops. The latest drop, aside from all the logo updating from the fists to the monogram, is my neo-traditional tributes to the Disney parks right now. I have an expansion I'm working on already, but what has already been done and I'm systematically adding to the store is all the neo-traditional park tributes. And when I say neo-traditional park tributes, I'm talking about neo-traditional tattoo designs that represent all things Disney. So check it out, leallegacy.com, @LealLegacy across all your favorite social media platforms. Like, subscribe, hit the ding-dong bell, all those things. And as always, thanks for being a friend, telling a friend. See ya.